It was a cold winter morning in the city of Meriden. People rushed by with their coats buttoned up, coffee cups in hand, and headphones blocking out the world. Amid the noise and movement sat a man on a wooden bench outside a bakery. His coat was old, his shoes torn, and his beard thick with frost. Yet his eyes were strangely kind. His name was Eliah. He had no home, no family, and no steady source of food. He slept behind an old church building and spent his days near the bakery where the warmth of the ovens offered some comfort. Most people passed by without a second glance. Some whispered, "There's that homeless guy again," while others averted their eyes, afraid he might ask for something. But Eliah never asked. He only smiled at people. Sometimes he nodded. He always said, "Have a good day," even when no one replied. One morning, a little boy named Toby, no more than 10 years old, came out of the bakery holding a paper bag. His mother was beside him, talking on her phone and not paying much attention. Toby stopped suddenly and looked at Eliah. The old man smiled. "Good morning, young man," Eliah said gently. Toby hesitated, then walked over. "Are you cold?" "A little," Eliah chuckled. "But I've known worse winters." Toby looked into his bag and pulled out a bagel. He handed it to Eliah. "You can have mine. I had breakfast already." Eliah took it with both hands like it was a treasure. "Thank you, Toby," he said. "You just made my day." Toby smiled and ran back to his mom, who hadn't even noticed the moment that just changed two lives. Inside the bakery, the owner, Mrs. Alder, had seen the exchange through the window. She had watched Eliah for weeks, how he never begged, never made trouble, and always greeted people with kindness. She spoke to her husband that evening. "That man," she said, "he reminds me of someone. My father. He used to say, 'Those with the least often give the most.'" The next morning, she stepped outside with a warm sandwich and coffee. "You don't have to," Eliah said, surprised. "I want to," she replied. "You remind me of someone I loved dearly." From that day on, she made sure there was something for Eliah each morning. A man in a gray suit, Nathan Hale, had been watching from a distance. He came to the bakery every morning on his way to his law office. He saw Eliah and Mrs. Alder. He saw Toby. He saw the kindness. One morning, he walked up to Eliah. "Mind if I sit?" "Be my guest," Eliah replied, scooting over. "I've watched you for a while," Nathan admitted. "You seem peaceful despite everything." Eliah looked at him, his eyes calm. "I lost everything. My job, my wife, my home. But I learned something strange." "What's that?" "I still have something to give." Over the weeks, Nathan returned again and again. He sat beside Eliah and listened to stories. Stories of hope, heartbreak, and lessons learned the hard way. Eliah told him about the time he gave his last $5 to a woman crying outside a hospital. "She looked like my daughter," Eliah said. "I couldn't walk away." "Did you get it back?" Nathan asked. "Number, but I didn't give it to get it back." Those words stuck with Nathan. He had money, a house, a car, but something was missing. Toby started coming by every weekend just to chat with Eliah. His mother finally noticed and asked why. "He listens," Toby said. "He tells the best stories." So she sat with them once, then twice, then every Sunday. Soon, other regulars at the bakery started stopping to say hello. One gave Eliah a warm blanket, another gave him boots. A few began sharing meals or simply talking to him. Eliah never asked for any of it. He only ever gave his smile, his words, and his time, and somehow that was enough. Winter deepened, and Eliah began coughing. At first, he waved it off. "Just the cold," he said. But soon, he couldn't hide it. Mrs. Alder called an ambulance when she found him shivering behind the bakery one morning. At the hospital, Nathan sat by his side. "You should have told someone," he said. "I didn't want to trouble anyone," Eliah whispered. "You're not a burden. You've changed more lives than you know." Eliah smiled faintly. Then I've lived well. Eliah never made it out of the hospital, but he left a letter. It was found in his coat pocket, addressed simply, "To anyone who cares." I may have had no home, no riches, and no titles, but I had love to give, stories to tell, and smiles to share. If I left a little warmth in the hearts I met, then I had everything that truly matters. Be kind, even when you have nothing, especially then. That's when it means the most. Eliah. After Eliah's passing, Mrs. Alder placed a small plaque on the bench. In memory of Eliah, the man who had nothing but gave everything. Nathan started a foundation in Eliah's name to help homeless people with food, stories, and dignity. Toby grew up to be a social worker. He told Eliah's story wherever he went. And the bakery? It became known as the Bench Cafe, a place where no one was invisible. Eliah never had wealth, never had fame, but he changed a street, a neighborhood, and eventually a city. Not by preaching, not by demanding, but by giving what he had, his heart. Sometimes the richest souls wear worn-out shoes, and sometimes the ones who sleep under the stars are the ones who show us the way to live. In a world that measures success by what you have, let Eliah remind us of a different truth, that real success is what you give, even when you have nothing left. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs hope today. And remember, kindness is never wasted.